Okay, so today I'm going to do something a little different. I really wanted to eat ginger cake, but all of the ginger cake recipes call for ground ginger, but I wanted to use fresh ginger since I bought quite a lot. Also, I really wanted to use date syrup since I bought date syrup recently, and the date cake recipes out there use pitted dates and like whole dates and things like that. So I couldn't really find a recipe online meeting my requirements. So what I thought I would do is do a little bit of experimentation and ask Chat GPT for a recipe. So today we're going to try a Chat GPT cake recipe for a ginger and date cake. So let's get going. So I've already preheated the oven to 175 degrees, and the first thing we need to do after that is it says whisk together the flour, baking powder, salt and cinnamon. So I'm just going to measure 220 grams of plain flour. Okay, we need to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'm just measuring in half a teaspoon measurements. So I'm going to use 4 of them. Half a teaspoon of fine salt. That looks like a lot of salt, guys. Bit nervous about that. I might use less. I think I'm going to use 1/4 teaspoon. I know we're using unsalted butter, but I can't bring myself to add a whole half a teaspoon. I'm worried it'll make the cake too salty, so hopefully it doesn't make it too sweet now. Okay, and now 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, the good stuff. I like to use Ceylon cinnamon. Ceylon cinnamon is the Sri Lankan cinnamon, and it's what's known as true cinnamon, and I just really like the flavour of it. I think it has more of a richer flavour. Stir it. In another bowl, whisk the melted butter, date syrup until smooth. Okay, so we have our melted butter, 100 grams, and we need to add 200 grams of date syrup. So I'm just going to place this butter on the scale, and we are going to measure 200 grams of date syrup. Let's go. I'm using this date syrup. Bismillah. 1 more gram to go. Yeah, we did it, guys. Okay, let's mix as instructed. I'd say that this is mixed enough. Beat in the eggs, then whisk in the milk, vanilla and grated fresh ginger. Right, I've just emptied the original flour bowl out, and I'm going to put the wet ingredients in here instead, because I won't be able to mix it properly otherwise. Right, this is our eggs whisking into our dates and butter. Cool, now we need to add the milk, vanilla and freshly grated ginger. This is our milk, 140 mils. Vanilla, we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and it's optional, but I'm going to add it in because I think it will be nice. Hopefully it doesn't overpower the flavour of the... oh my god, that was way too much. Okay, I think that's enough. Here's our ginger, all grated. It's quite coarsely grated, so I'm not sure if that's okay. I feel like we should have probably done it a bit finer. But this is what I could manage today, so it is what it is. Let's add it in. Oh, all the ginger stuck to the whisk. It's gonna be an interesting batter with all this fibrous ginger in there. Okay, now we need to fold the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients and combine. It doesn't say if we need to do it in stages or not, so I'm just gonna dump it in. Interesting colour. It says to fold the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients until just combined, so I don't want to over whisk it or anything because I think that will get rid of any air and then it will become denser, so we don't want to over whisk it, so I think that's actually done. Now we need to pour it into a baking tin. I'm going to use a bread loaf tin. Here's how I like to grease a baking tin. You put a bit of butter in the base and then you rub it around until everything's coated, and then we are going to lightly dust it with flour. Okay, I'd say that's good enough, guys, although we do have 2 spots there where cake's probably going to get stuck, but I'm not really that bothered, so let's fill this cake tin with our batter. Here we go. Bismillah. Okay, tin is full of cake batter. It's all leveled. It's very, very heavy. I'm going to put it in the oven now for 35 minutes and then check it and see how it is, and I'll let you guys know how long it takes overall. Okay, so the cake is ready, and in total it ended up taking 45 minutes rather than 35. I did check it after 35 and it was still raw in the middle, around here in the middle, so I just left it there in the oven for 10 more minutes, and then I checked it with a skewer stick as Chat GPT told me to, and it was coming out clear, so I knew that the cake was ready. So what we're going to do is let's try to put it onto this wire rack to cool. I left it in this tin for around 10 to 15 more minutes after taking it out of the oven just to cool down a bit. So I'm going to try to flip this over. Bismillah. Let's see if it comes out clear. Moment of truth. Yay, it came out pretty well. We don't have much left on the pan, which is nice, and it smells really good, guys. So this side looks like it might be slightly overdone over here. It's quite dark. Hopefully it's not burnt. And the other side, it looks a bit lighter, so maybe something I could have done is turn the tray around in the oven halfway through the time, because as you can see, half of it's darker and half of it's lighter. But I did probe the skewer stick in several places when I was checking, and they all came out clear, so hopefully it is all cooked. Okay, let's taste the cake and see how it is. I'm really excited. It's kind of a little warm still, which is good. Okay, as you can see, it still has some of those fibres poking through, like the ginger fibre up here. But it looks really nice and moist, honestly. So let's give it a taste and see how it is. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm just going to go ahead and eat it. So it has quite a bouncy texture, and that's the first thing I noticed when I tried it. And as you can see, it is quite squishy. It's really nice. It's mild in sweetness, not too sweet. And I can taste the fresh ginger coming through. Definitely less gingery compared to using ground ginger, I believe. But it's quite a nice fresh taste in a sense. Tastes kind of healthy. Yeah. It's not overpoweringly sweet. Remember, the only source of sweetness we used was the date syrup. We didn't use any sugar. But yeah, it tastes quite nice. It tastes like an unsweetened version of a Jamaican ginger cake. Like it's got the same texture to it and slight same ginger vibes to it, but is much less sweet. It is obviously still a little sweet because date syrup is a very sweet ingredient. I feel like I can taste the sort of molasses flavour of date syrup coming through. I do really like it. I would say for a cake, I think most people would want it slightly sweeter. So maybe it could be like, the recipe could be, in addition to the 200 grams of syrup, maybe we could have used like 50 grams or 25 grams of like light muscovado brown sugar or something like that. So I'm coming in during the edit here, and I just wanted to say that the next day when I tried the cake again, I think the flavours had developed overnight because it tasted the perfect level of sweetness the next day, and also the texture had developed overnight for sure because it was less bouncy, like in a good way. It tasted like the texture was better the next day as well. So I think the level of sweetness was perfect after all, and I quite like the fact that it wasn't overly sweet actually. But the texture is perfect for a cake, you know, it's really delicious and moist. And I'd say maybe I'd rate this like a 7 out of 10 because I think I'd like it slightly sweeter. And maybe I think if I had added mixed spices rather than just plain cinnamon powder into the mix, it would have been extra, like, more depth to the flavour, you know? And perhaps we could have supplemented the fresh ginger with ground ginger as well. I probably would make it again. Maybe I'd try the Greek yogurt version rather than the milk, like the original recipe suggested. And I would also grate the ginger a bit better. It's a nice subtly sweet snack. I'd add a bit more sugar and then I think it would be really moreish. But yeah, I'd say Chat GPT has pretty good suggestions based on this experience, and I probably would ask it for future recipes as well because it was quite a fun little experiment. I'm sure my family will like it as well, and this cake definitely won't be going to waste. It was really good. Alright, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Salam.